deck tech for BWVIIIrack that you'll see me playing a few games in the series with. Shell of a mono black control, unchanged from a lot of normal things. We're running our 4 Shrieking Afflictions, our 4 racks, 4 Lily for kill and discard, 4 Smallpox because I absolutely love Smallpox, 4 Raven's Crime is an absolute must, 1 Dakmor for the Raven's Crime loop. Much better to have the Dakmor as a one-of. Enter the battlefield tap lands are just too slow for Modern, and you really need that turn 3, turn 4 play to be a game-changing play, not a play a tapped land, wait a turn and lose play. You'll see me running 4 Thoughtseize instead of 3 Thoughtseize, 4 Inquisition, down to 3 Inquisition. That change came about when we lost Dismember. I think it's superior. I'm much happier playing with my life total a little bit more with Thoughtseize. The most I lose from it in a game is 4, and that's what I lose off 1 or 2 Dismember anyway, sometimes more. Versus hitting a Siege Rhino or hitting some other big creature or some Planeswalker that I can't really deal with, or taking a Cryptic Command that when I need to stick a Liliana. Thoughtseize is really pulling its weight, and the life total isn't a problem at all. Regarding Necrogen Mists and Wrenchmind, normally people play 3 Wrenchmind. I've been finding that one of the biggest drawbacks to 8-rack is people who know the matchup and know to just sit back, hold cards, wait till they have 5 in hand, then play 1, wait till they have 5 in hand again, then play another. And you cast Wrenchmind in that situation, they go to 3 cards, they don't take any damage off the rack or Shrieking Affliction, they wait a couple more turns till they have cards in their hand, and then they play 1 card again, and they just stay out of range indefinitely, and that can be very frustrating and a very slow, grindy loss for us. Necrogen Mists represents much more than a 2-for-1. It can represent 4, 5, 6 cards lost for them. It also encourages them to play their cards instead of hold them because they know they're going to lose them anyway. I've been running at 2 and 1, and I've been pretty happy with Necrogen Mists as a 9th and 10th perpetual discard engine on top of Raven's Crime and Liliana. Path to Exile, the reason to play BWVIIIrack. As I've shown in my Tron series thus far, needing Path, needing Exile is such a benefit. Having Path, such a benefit. One might question the decision to run Path and Smallpox, but honestly, Smallpox isn't about mana denial as much as it is about 2-for-1ing a discard and a kill spell. And the reason for that is because if my opponent has no mana, they have no ability to play their own cards. If they have no ability to play their own cards, it's up to me alone to get their discard engine going. And I don't really like that. I would prefer them to play a card and have it get fatal pushed or to continue playing lands to keep them inside of Rack and Shrieking Affliction range. Fatal Push in the small kill spot. This has replaced Dismember completely. If you were to look at a list of creatures in Modern that actually see play in real decks that had greater than 5 toughness and greater than 4 CMC versus less than 4 CMC, like 2 CMC things, you'll quickly find that Fatal Push hits almost everything. Tasigur and Gurmag Angler, I think, are the only 2 real creatures that it becomes a problem with. Maybe once in a while you'll see someone in Jund running a 5 fatty, but for the most part Fatal Push hits everything. It hits it painlessly, and with multicolor, with 2-color, we can trigger push quite well. We trigger push with Smallpox, we trigger push with Marsh Flats, we trigger push with Urborg, replacing another Urborg. It goes off quite nicely. Because in this version, when compared to our black-red version, we don't need double white for sideboard cards or mainboard cards, so we don't need to run any of those colorless tap 1 color, make 2 color Karen's type lands. And because of that, we're also able to run 4 Mutavault and 4 Urborg without any problems at all. This one of Flagstone of whatever is just for smallpox. You'll see I don't even run a basic plains. It's because I don't need a basic plains. I have plenty of white for my 4 of Path to Exile and my 6 sideboard white cards here. And Flagstone will search for Godless Shrine, just like Marshflat search for Godless Shrine. Of note, don't pay 2 life to make Godless Shrine come in untapped. Tokir will also put it on, into the battlefield tap regardless of whether or not you pay the life for it. Moving on to sideboard, Rest in Peace is possibly better than Leyline of the Void, possibly worse. It does shut off our Raven's Crime, which is quite unfortunate, but it does come down early and hard. And you'll see in some of the Dread matchups that I'm going to put up videos for later, Rest in Peace is a beastly workhorse that basically wins us the game. Disenchant is pretty good for our sideboard. Being 2 CMC as compared to some of the other enchantment or artifact removal is very important because of Chalice. Chalice on 1, having an answer to it other than Lily Ultimate is perfect. It's great. It's necessary. Destroying enchantments, Leyline of Sanctity. This thing is my answer to Leyline of Sanctity. When you're playing against some kind of Boggles deck, or especially Lantern Control, certain stupid burn decks like red-white burn with the Lightning Helix, and they try to stall things out, or anyone that brings in Leyline, and they can't be targeted by Thoughtseize. Raven's Crime doesn't hit them, Inquisition doesn't hit them, Wrenchmine doesn't hit them, which actually was another reason I started playing Necrogen Mists. It's really nice to just play a Necrogen and a Lily and a Rack, because Streaking Affliction and the Rack don't target. They get past Leyline, and so does Lily and Necrogen. Still, having 3 of those to blow up Leyline, very nice. 4 Flaying Tendrils and 2 Damnation. Same reasons as was in the Black-Red 8-Rack with the Anger. Having quick, small board wipe against things that go wide, fast, and under us is absolutely a must. Flaying Tendrils, 4 of them, I would run 5 of these if I could. Maybe not. I could always run Drown in Sorrow, but that's what Damnation is there for. Damnation going for bigger things, things that are larger than 2, obviously. That many board wipes is probably correct. I like having board wipes. If my opponent is on the play and he goes land birds and then turns that into board vomit and I can't catch up, and it puts me, or for example Affinity, they completely board vomit, and you'll see in a lot of the games where I have a handful of racks and they dump their hand and I dump my racks and we race, and I end up losing that race more often than I end up winning that race. Board wipe is the answer to that problem. My last slot here, Pithing Needle. It could be Stony Silence. I'd like to test around with that, play around with that a little bit more. Pithing Needle's fine for, well, it's in there right now as an experiment against Tron for future games. Stony Silence might be the better option. I don't know yet. Yeah, let's get to some games.